Hello everyone, today we'll be working on 1.3.2 hole block. We'll be going through the process of creating the actual hole block that is in the assignment, and then I'll also show you how to work with the hole command and drill them into your figure. We'll start by creating a 3 by 5 by 2 size block. I'll start a sketch on the front view as always and rotate so I'm looking at it from a perpendicular view. And then I will start with a rectangle with a width of 5 and a height of 2. We'll finish that sketch, zoom out, and then we'll extrude this rectangular shape for a depth of 3. I'm then going to start a sketch here on this front surface. And I will place some work points along the center, and we need 4 of them. I'm then going to locate them horizontally since they're in the center, constrained here to this center point, the midpoint. You don't have to locate them vertically, but they should be 1 inch from this edge to the center and 1 inch from this edge to the center. So they should all be in line together. So if you constrained it here horizontally, you won't have to add that dimension. So then we're going to add dimension. So from this edge to this center, oops, drew a line instead. We're going to dimension from this edge to the center, and we want that to be 0.75. And then from this center point to this center point, we want it to be 1. From this center point to this center point, we want it to be 1.25. And then from this center point to this center point, we want it to be 1.25 again. And then I will finish that sketch and rotate so I can see a little bit better. And we'll be working with all 4 of these center points. To drill a hole, you'll select this hole command right here. And then we will select the first hole. And you'll see your options here. First, you have your counter bore, countersink, or simple, where there's no feature along the top. For the first hole, we want it to be a counter bore. You'll then see you can choose it to be a specified distance, which will be a blind hole, or cut all the way through your object. For this one, we want it to be a blind hole. We want the interior diameter to be 0.5, which is already indicated here. We want the top of the counter bore to be 0.75 diameter. We want the depth of our counter bore feature to be 0.5, which is already correct. And then we want the overall depth of this hole to be 2. Looking to make sure everything else is correct and I didn't miss anything, I can click my green check and you'll see that we drilled this first hole correctly. If for some reason yours doesn't look correct, you can always come back and double click on the hole you just drilled and make any changes as necessary. You'll notice that my center points disappeared and my visibility for sketch 2 turned off because hole 1 compressed it or consumed it. So I'm going to turn the visibility back on so I can see them and use them, and then I can go back and turn it back off once I'm done. I'll create a hole with the second center point. This one should be a countersink hole. It'll look like a funnel instead of a cylinder. Countersink. It has an angle of 82 degrees, which is already correct. It has an interior diameter of 0.5, which is already correct. It has an exterior diameter of 1. And then it does cut all the way through. So we'll need to change it from blind to through. and then click your green check. Again, if yours doesn't look correct once you've drilled it, you can always come back and double click on hole 2 to modify it. We're going to do our third hole with the third center point. This one does not have any special features along the top, so it's a simple hole. It does cut all the way through the object, and then it has a diameter of 0.5, which is already indicated here, so I don't need to make changes. And then the last one will be one additional counter bore hole. Counter bore. I will click on the center. The interior has a diameter of 0.25. The exterior has a diameter of 0.375. And it goes down at a distance of 0.25. And it does have a depth overall, so it's a blind hole with an overall depth of 1. And then that should be correct. Onshape does not have the capability to fix the drill point down at the end and make it flat. Onshape does not have that capability, so we'll just ignore that for now. There are ways to override it, but it's a very complicated process. So anywhere you see that your hole is supposed to be flat on the inside instead of having a drill point like you see here, just ignore that. Make sure you save this file because you will need it for future assignments as well.